Today we're going to be multiplying and dividing integers. When we added and subtracted integers, we sang a song to help us remember the rule. Multiplying and dividing integers, we're going to draw a tic-tac-toe board, and we're going to fill the tic-tac-toe board in with one diagonal having all plus signs, and everywhere else, the entire board is going to have a minus sign. Now we can use this board to help us both multiply and divide. They use the same rules. So if I have a positive times a negative, my answer is a negative. If I have a negative times a positive, my answer is a negative. If I have a negative times a negative, my answer is a positive. And I can go around the board any way I want. Positive times positive, answer is positive. Positive times negative, answer is negative. Negative times positive, answer is negative, and so forth. I can use this board. I just find the two symbols for the type of integer that I have, and then the answer is the third. To write the rules so that we can memorize them if we don't have the tic-tac-toe board, if I have a positive times a positive, my answer is a positive. If I have a negative times a negative, my answer is a positive. If I have a negative times a positive, my answer is a negative. And if I have a positive times a negative, my answer is also a negative. So if you want to think of it this way, you don't want to get confused with the adding and subtracting song. But if the signs are the same and we're multiplying or dividing, then we are going to get a positive answer. And then if the signs are different, and we are multiplying or dividing, then we're going to get a negative answer. Again, if you don't want to get it confused with the song, then you can draw your tic-tac-toe board to help you. So let's look at some examples. If I were to have a negative 3 times 4, I'm going to multiply the numbers together. 3 times 4 is 12. And then I look at the signs. I have a negative times a positive. Negative times positive, my answer is negative. So it's negative 12. Let's look at another example. Let's look at 3 times 5. We should know off the top of our head that that's 15, but if we're checking using our integer rules, a positive times a positive is a positive. So therefore it's positive 15. If I look at negative 8 times negative 3, 8 times 3 is 24. Negative times negative is a positive. I'm going to check it out. Negative times negative is a positive. So my answer would be positive 24. One more. What if I did 5 times negative 6? 5 times 6 is 30. Here I have a positive times a negative, so my answer is going to be negative. I can double check it with my tic-tac-toe board. Positive times negative is negative. Division works the same way. Let's look at a couple of division problems. Let's look at negative 12 divided by 4. Negative and positive, let's do the numbers first. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Negative divided by positive. So I'm going to find a negative divided by a positive is a negative. So my answer would be negative. If I have negative 18 divided by 3, division in a fraction form is also another form of division. I do 18 divided by 3, and that is 6. And then I look at my signs. Negative divided by positive. Negative divided by positive is a negative. So my answer would be negative. If I look at negative 16 divided by negative 4, 16 divided by 4 is 4. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. I can check it out here. Negative divided by negative is a positive. Let's look at a couple of examples where we're using either multiple multiplication or multiple division. So let's look at negative 3 times 4 times negative 5. Again, I'm going to use order of operations and only take 2 into consideration each time. So here, Negative 3 times 4. 3 times 4 is 12. A negative times a positive. If I look on my chart, negative times positive is negative. So that is negative 12. Then I bring down the times negative 5. Now I'm going to look at this part, the Dorito, just like order of operations. 12 times 5 is 60. Negative times negative. Negative times negative is positive. So my final answer is positive 60. Let's look at another one. Negative 7 times negative 2 times negative 3. Again, order of operations. So I have negative 7 times negative 2. 7 times 2 is 14. Negative times negative is a positive. Bring down the times and the negative 3. 14 times 3 is 42. A positive times a negative is a negative. So my final answer is a negative 42. We're going to work more on this in class.